Well, hello and welcome to Knife Delights. It's time for another Saturday chat. And once again, a special guest. We have none other than CB Tactical on the old horn here today. I've been wanting to talk to him for quite a long time. We've known each other now for it was last winter sometime, I think, when we first met. I
Yeah,
think we
about
met
7, 8 months.
on an RJ's Live, I think is when it has been. So
Yep.
without any further ado, CB, take it away.
Hey Tom, how are you? I hope y'all are doing good.
We
Thanks for
are.
having me on. It's this is amazing because I love this community, and the deeper I get into it, the just the better it gets. Everybody's so welcoming. Nobody really is critical, and they let you know when you mess up, but getting on with you guys just means the world to me, and I appreciate it.
Oh, not a problem. You talk about messing up. I have to confess to everybody, I messed up. Um, I kind of let my friend Ray at North Star Knife Reviews out to hang just a little bit. And Ray, if you catch this, I want to publicly apologize. We were doing a traveling knife and it went to Thrifty Kniffy. And when I sent an email to Thrifty, I says, "Hey, when you're done, yeah, send it on up to Ray." And I thought Ray was in on it. I don't know. I assumed something I shouldn't have. Well, Ray gets it. He doesn't realize it's the traveling knife, and he thought it was a gift from Thrifty, and so he did a video like, "Oh, thanks, Thrifty," and so I had to kind of say, "Sorry, but that's a traveling knife." And he's cool with it. We're cool, but folks, I got to say I apologize because it gets crazy out here. We're communicating back and forth on all this stuff, and I slipped up. So Ray, please forgive me. I beg your forgiveness. He's such a good friend, and no, I know he's cool with it, but I kind of put him on the spot.
Well, there's a lot of logistics in a traveling knife that people don't really understand, because uh, you may go through 20 people before the knife actually makes its
Hmm.
rotation back home.
Right.
And, just trying to keep everybody in line to where
Yeah.
it gets to the next place, it
And
takes a lot.
I swore I had talked to Ray about it before, and maybe I didn't. And maybe I was thinking of a previous traveling knife I had a discussion with him on or something. So,
Well,
but
I'm sure he
little
doesn't mind.
little things like that happen, and but yeah, I gotta fess up. I gotta own up to it.
Sure,
But
sure.
so
Well,
Ray,
my
yeah,
problem is like, when I get ready to do a video, it's like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning because that's when everybody's in bed, and I and it still don't work out.
no,
Uh,
it don't.
you'll hear something in the background here all the time, and I just think it's hilarious. I just leave it in.
Yeah,
It's real life, so let it go.
I've gotten to. I just if I do edit and cut it out, I add it on the end as a blooper or something. But once the camera starts going, sometimes you say the dumbest things. I misnamed somebody the other day, and I caught it, and I'm like, oh man, sorry. This is your name. And I laughed at myself. I says, you just never know. And
Yeah,
sometimes you're in a little bit of a rush, like you're looking for time. We have busy lives, and it's like, man, I got to get this video done. And sometimes you rush a little too fast, and you need to take a breath. But
well,
you're trying to get it out there.
I graduate in January, and so like this portion of school is just getting like it's
What are
getting
you What
nitty
are you going to
gritty.
school for?
Gunsmithing,
Oh, that's right, gunsmithing. Good
yeah.
on you.
But the thing is that it's just not gunsmithing. It's legitimate school. I have
Sure,
science. I'm doing environmental science and
sure.
psychology, and I mean it's a lot into it. And so I'm right at the end here, and so like it's hectic. and then my wife, she's going to college too. And so for social media marketing, and we just don't have any time. So
Yep.
like I do my videos 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and then I'm back up by 7 or 8,
Hmm.
and going right back at the day.
Yep.
So I don't really edit much. I try to hit
Yeah.
it on the first lick, and if it's bad, it's bad.
Yeah.
I just try to show you the
I don't.
real me, I
I
guess.
don't typically do a lot of editing on just my, straight knife reviews and that. When I'm doing some of my cleanup and refurbishing videos, I have to edit those because I got to go in and cut and splice and speed things up because otherwise those videos would be an hour and a half long. If I did it, I got to get it chopped down to, at least 20 minutes, and that's even a little long. But
Right.
so some of those I do some editing, but just usually your standard knife reviews and that kind of stuff. I don't do much editing whatsoever.
Yeah,
If I make a
that's me.
mistake, I put a comment in the video like, "Oops, I messed up," or yeah,
Yeah. Well, speaking of traveling knives, I'm starting a traveling knife. Um,
fantastic.
and you're going to be the first one to get it, Tom.
Thank you.
So, you know, this is a really great Victorinox that I got in a subscription box a couple weeks ago.
Well, let me put you
And
up on full screen here real quick. Go
so
ahead.
this isn't like the red traditional handled Victorinox. You actually get a nice pouch with it, and it's the Hunter XT in OD green scales,
Mm-hmm.
and you get a bone saw, which is pretty cool. Uh, it's a liner lock also. Then you get your main blade. I really like these Victorinox blades. They got a great shape to them,
Yeah, they do.
and the thumb hole just makes it easier. It's just a whole lot easier to manipulate if you're
Right.
doing something. And then you get a tree saw,
Nice.
and I know you like your corkscrews, but this one has a screwdriver.
Oh no, see, I'm on the
No,
side
that's
that likes.
thrifty, ain't it?
Yeah, I'm on the side that likes the Phillips that comes out the bottom end, like you have that on that one.
Yeah,
So,
it's more of a useful tool to me. The
yep,
corkscrew, how many bottles of wine am I going to open? I don't
right.
even drink wine.
But they're going to tell you there's 100 different uses for it.
I, well, I understand that, but to me, as a mechanic,
Right.
the 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 Phillips is key. I
Yep.
love Phillips.
Exactly.
So I was gonna send this one around and just let people check it out and do a review on it. I really like this one, and it's one that you just don't see a lot of.
Right.
You see the classic SD, the Tinker, a lot of those models, but this is a newer style model that I really really like a Victorinox.
Yep.
Um, oh, to me, they're one of the original multi tools. Uh, I remember getting. I turned 49 this last week, and I remember getting Victorinoxes when I was 10, 12 years old.
You're
I
you're just a youngin.
Well, I don't feel that young. I'm sure broke down, I tell you.
Let me tell you what it's like to get old, brother.
Well,
you know,
my
I.
dad was the fastest person I've ever known. Like
Hmm.
even as a teenager, I could never keep up with him. He's got ADHD. He's gotta have it. He's
Uh-huh.
just so like off the wall. Bang, 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 bang. And up until the past couple years, I've never been able to keep pace with him.
Right. Right.
And now he's slowing down. He's 73 and he's starting to slow down now. And I was like, man, if I always if I'm like that until I'm 73, I'm good. I'm good, you know. So,
Right.
but
Well, I noticed when I hit 40 that that's when I first kind of realized I'm not 21 anymore.
yeah,
You know,
and
and then I hit 50, and it's like, yeah, it's really coming along here, and the realization, I'm a half a century old now. Then I hit 60, and yeah, so
well,
I'm at 60 plus two, so
you
it's
know
just
you're
going so
starting
fast.
to get on up there when you turn over in the bed and you hurt your back.
Yep,
You
exactly.
know, it's like, oh, what I do? I just turned over in the bed. You know, now
It,
I'm down for a week.
it's funny, you don't feel old, but you go out and try to do some manual labor or some chore that you haven't done for 20 years or something, like climbing up and down the ladder all day. Believe me, you feel it the next
Oh
day, don't
yeah.
you? Oh yeah, yeah,
Uh, that's another thing too. You know, your mind and your heart says, I'm 21 still.
yeah.
You know, but your body's like, nope, nope.
No, no,
You're
slow her
going.
down.
I'm gonna show you. You
I
know.
think uh, I think it was Howie Long, the former linebacker.
Yeah.
I think somebody asked him a question of how did you know when it was time to retire or something, from football. And he said, well, you used to play a Sunday game and Monday morning you'd go into practice and no big deal. He says, then you get to the point you play a Sunday game and it's not till Thursday that you can make it out of bed to get to practice. He says, that's
Yeah. Yeah.
so
But it's all good. You know, I
it's all
wouldn't
good.
trade none of it.
It's that's just all part of life.
That's
So
right. That's
hey,
right.
I wanna show something to everybody just real quick here. One of the ways that old CB and I got better acquainted was he had a giveaway. And I don't know why, but I was the lucky recipient of this great Leatherman signal. And I did a tabletop review on it, and I've tried to go out and do a field review. I got some of that video shot, but then I ran out of time. It's been such a busy summer. I have never gotten that finished. But I'll tell you what, this is one great Leatherman, and it's designed for, not so much for mechanical, but for the outdoorsman.
Right.
Wouldn't you say that's what it's geared towards?
Yeah, I would say it's absolutely geared towards hiking, outdoors,
Yep,
fishing,
yep,
that kind of lifestyle for sure.
it sure does. It's very nice. It's got a little. I won't break it all out, but it's got a little sharpener in there. Oh, there's the sharpener. I'm sorry. There's a sharpener there. If I can get it in there, this little piece here, and just a real small ferro rod, kind of an emergency type
Right.
thing. But a lot of different uses for this. I have used it. I just haven't gotten everything done on video. I took it fishing with me one day and was trying to, get the whole thing done. Try to get a good outdoors testing of this, and everything I did, it performed very well. I cut a stick off and shaved it down and whittled and let's see what else. I did some other cutting type stuff with it and everything. It all performed well, but I
Oh
just
yeah,
didn't get enough for a video to put together.
and uh, their standard blades are 420, so it's basically a buck blade. You know,
Right, right.
uh, I really like Leatherman. I carry this one every day. This is the P2 free, and you can actually open it one handed.
Oh,
Uh,
okay. Yeah.
you know, now you got to close it with two hands, but you know, if you're working, you can open it one handed. And this has so many tools in it. I use this thing all the time. A lot of people I get it. They're stuck on their Victorinoxes because they were pretty much the original multi-tool company, as far as like different kinds of multi-tools. And they make great quality stuff. A lot of people like their Gerbers. They're economical. But the thing about a Gerber or anything else is, to me, they're uncomfortable when you're trying to use them.
Mhm.
With Leatherman, the handles are contoured to where they don't bite into your hand when you're actually gripping the pliers. I can't hardly hold on to Gerbers or any other kind because they always have that sharp edge on the handles. That just bugs me to no end. And
Uh-huh.
so that's kind of why I'm so adamant about Leatherman. Plus, they're made in the USA and they got a 25-year warranty on any part of it.
Right.
So, I mean, if they mean for this to last, so yeah, yes, they do cost more, but if you buy it once and it lasts a lifetime, that means a lot to me. I'd rather buy
Yep.
one and last a lifetime than 10, because that means when you actually need it, it's going to break on you.
Yep. Yep.
If you got to go buy 10 of them to replace the one that you're using.
Yep. My
So,
only my only other Leatherman is one that I bought a few years back, and it's one of the, well, I guess, cheaper models, less expensive models, but it's the Sidekick.
yeah, yeah, those are great.
You know, and funny thing is, I don't use it very often. Um, I will take this in the car with me when I know I'm going on a long trip, and I have a other, little small toolkit put together just for
Right.
some emergency tools. What I actually carry in the car is just a cheap one from Menards. What's their brand? I can't remember, but I have a few of the cheaper ones, the Chinese made ones that I have thrown everywhere for my just in case. And even with you, if you have a Leatherman, sometimes you need two pair of pliers. You need a plier in each hand. So I always have one of them cheap ones thrown somewhere that, so I always
Right.
have something. But yeah, I agree. The Leatherman, I'll tell you, I was first introduced to the Leatherman when I was in the Navy. And
Yeah.
some of the engineering types, we called them snipes because they worked down in the engine room. They never saw daylight.
Right.
But yeah, they were starting to get some of these, and we were all so jealous. But the supply officer wouldn't order them for everybody because they were so expensive. But certain
Right.
people could get a Leatherman, and those were I think, some of the original Leathermans. I don't know how long they've been around, in the 70s or 80s, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
So this,
they've been around a little while, but Victorinox been around a lot longer than
oh
they have.
yeah, yeah. But
Now, like I said, I do not knock Victorinox one
oh, I
bit,
don't either. No, not
but
not in the least.
my Leatherman, I couldn't walk out the door without it. You know,
Yeah.
it it's just one of them type of tools that I will always have one on me. And I've got let's see, I got the Leatherman Charge in titanium and the
Hmm.
Blades S30V. Um, and then I have the Surge. I've got a Sidekick. I've got the Wave.
So what you're trying to say is you
I've
really
got
like your
quite a few.
Leatherman. You
Yeah,
really
I
like your
really like
Leatherman.
Leathermans. Uh, and it's just like Buck.
Yeah.
Uh, 25 years from now, I snap the blade on it, and I can call Leatherman, and they'll put a new blade in it.
Yep.
Uh, Buck, you cannot beat Buck simply for their warranty.
Hmm.
No, not many knife companies do that.
No.
And
No.
you can take a knife, Tom, that your dad carried or your grandfather carried, and if it was like the first Bucks produced or whatever, you could send that into Buck and they'll refurbish it.
Mhm.
Or if they can't refurbish it, they'll give you a replacement.
Right, right.
And no other company will do that.
No, no, it's a fantastic company. I really admire Buck. As I've collected more of their knives, like I'll compare some of their Stockmans with other companies and their Stockmans. Sometimes Buck doesn't have the best walk and talk to like their Stockmans, and there's other little things that, I can be critical of, but I love what the company stands for. I love the fact that they stand behind their knives. And I challenge anyone, I say this all the time, please name me another USA knife company that is in the family for four generations now. Four
No,
generations.
there's not one.
There isn't. And
Yeah.
and that speaks volumes to me.
Well, as a being in the Navy and as a police officer, you carried a Beretta at some point, didn't you?
Yeah, in the Navy, they switched to the Beretta. Yeah.
So Beretta,
No,
it,
we didn't switch to the Beretta. What was it? We were carrying Colt 1911s. Who got the military contract?
it was
Uh,
Beretta after
was
the
that
1911.
was it Beretta? Okay,
Yeah.
then yes, I carried it. I can't remember, but yeah, it was a Beretta
Well,
then.
Beretta was not an arms. They didn't start out as a firearms company. Beretta
Hmm.
started out making swords and armor.
Right,
They're quite literally the oldest weapons manufacturer on the planet.
right,
Like they've been in business for 700 or 800 years, and that's amazing in itself, right
right.
there.
Yep.
But Buck is by far the only knife company that's ever done that, stayed in the same family, and
Hmm.
and uh, just stayed true to what they were.
Yep.
I just did a video, and this is I know everybody loves their Stockmans and their uh, trappers and stuff like that. They're by far the most popular slip joint knives ever made. But my favorite is the canoe,
Oh
and
yeah.
I just got the buck canoe, and it was wood grain pattern. I got it. Now this pattern is really nice on this wood grain.
Yep.
And I got this one at Smoky Mountain.
Yep.
Uh, but they didn't have the burl wood at the time when I was there. So
Sure.
I just went ahead and got this one. And, to me, this is useful, the most useful for me. Um, yeah, I don't need two or three different, four, five different blades,
Right.
Uh, for my purposes, most of the time, these two blades will take care of it. And, you know, I think I'm going to start a canoe collection. Um, it's just one of my favorite patterns,
Oh
and
yeah, it's a great pattern.
I love this one. It was so funny, because like I'm a chunky dude, and when I was doing my video, the bolsters are so shiny, you could see
Yeah.
my all my man meat hanging out. I wasn't wearing a shirt. Well, I tell you, I was like, I'm gonna have to redo this video. This is the only one I've ever done like that, but I was like, no, I ain't putting that out there.
Let me
But
see if I
yeah,
can find my canoe here. I agree with you though. That's a wonderful pattern. And let me see here. Oh, I've got one of them, and here it is. And I've carried it a lot. I need to get it back into my rotation, but I got one of them with the jig bone,
oh yeah, I like
which
that
was
one.
which was like a Walmart special, and I think you can still get them. I think
Okay.
If not, I've seen them on eBay quite a bit.
Yeah,
But,
yeah, you can get anything on eBay just
but
about.
I have carried this thing a lot, and talk about sharp. It was sharp out of the box.
Is that one retired? Is it not sharp anymore?
Oh, it could use a stropping. It could use a stropping. But
I'm
yeah,
making
it
fun
was.
of you, Tom.
What's that?
I'm making fun of you.
Oh,
You're not
well.
sharpening your knives, just going buy new ones.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Just throw them
Hey,
away.
you did
Throw
get
them away
a,
and buy a new one.
well, just put them back, they might get sharpened one day.
Yep, that's right.
You did get one of those workstations, didn't you?
No, I didn't. No.
You need to try one. They are so easy,
Yeah.
uh, and it's minimal effort. You just flip the stones and rub a
Right.
little bit, and
Mm-hmm.
flip the stone, rub a little bit, and then you polish it on the
Yep.
last one, and that's usually pretty sufficient. You
Yep.
just got to pick what degree you want your grind
Sure.
at.
Sure.
I keep
Well,
all mine at 20.
I still use a standard whetstone, and
I
I,
can't
I
do
guess
it.
I've always been able to keep them as sharp for what I need for my use. But
Yeah, uh,
I,
my
I,
buddy.
yeah, it is something I need to improve on though, and up my game on. I'll agree with that. I won't deny that. But I I guess just growing up, I mean, that's just how you sharpen. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
you pull out a little whetstone and spit on it and
Well,
sharpen your
I've
knife. And
ruined more knives than I've sharpened on them things
oh,
myself. I'm just not good at it. I
yeah,
get too impatient and I'll start hitting it real hard, and
sure.
it just. But my buddy, growing up, we were in our 20s maybe, and he was the best knife sharpener I've ever seen.
Hmm.
Old men would ask him to sharpen their knives, that's how good
Yeah,
he was. And you could shave and not even get razor burn with his knives. It was
yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
Um,
Some people do certainly have the knack for it.
yeah,
Yep.
he had that angle and he would just hit it right, and I just can't do it. So
Yeah.
I used workstation. It may be cheating, but hey, I've always got a sharp
Uh,
knife.
absolutely, absolutely. I'm to be totally honest, I don't use my knives all that much. Okay. And I do have lots of knives. So I never really use one knife to where I'm really getting it super dull anyway. It would be
Well,
a different story if I had one knife, I used it for everything, and I was using it a lot. Now, I'm not in the trades. If I was a mechanic and cutting hose and all the different things you put one through, it'd be a lot different story for me, I guess. But
and for me, it's been like that this whole year because I got hurt and I can't build cars anymore like I was, and so I don't use my knives as much. But like if I go down on the farm and I cook lunch or something, I'll use my pocket knife to cut stuff up with, and you know my I've got a K-bar Becker harpoon, and
oh yeah.
I really like that knife until I cut some onions with it, and I rusted the whole blade and I washed it. That's the thing. I
Right,
washed it
right.
as soon as I was done, but man, I tell you what, them onions, they rusted the whole the lettering on it rusted. It was white. Uh, the lettering rusted, and then the whole bevel rusted,
Hmm.
and it's just you
Yeah,
know. But that's 10.95 for you.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I got
Just
the
like
I s-
the old hickory. I've got a couple of their hunting knives in there, and what's fantastic is they put in the literature with the knife. They'll put on there. Now this is 1095 carbon steel. You got to take care of it. It will
yeah,
rust.
yeah,
I mean they're straight up with it. Um, but the nice thing about it is that steel you can sharpen it. Oh my gosh, you
Oh
can get
yeah.
that stuff sharp
Yeah.
with minimal effort.
That's why I like the case knives in 1095.
Hmm.
But of course their steel sharpens, their basic steel sharpens good too. But
Yep.
I just like the different steels. I like how 1095's been around for so long. And but down here in the South, if you don't watch it, it'll rust on you just sitting here
Hmm.
because it's so humid. Like today it was 95, 96 degrees and humidity was 100%, and it was like 108 or 9,
Hmm.
uh feels like. And it's just like it's miserable, but it's not good for steel for
No,
sure,
it's
because
not.
it just, this is known as the rust belt for a reason. So
Right. Yep. So there's Boston Blade Review put out a video concerning modern versus traditional knives.
okay.
So I'm going to put you on the spot. Where does your heart lie?
Mo-
Does your heart
modern
lie with traditionals or with moderns?
moderns.
Okay, when this interview's over, we'll type no.
No, I love traditionals because
Sure.
that's where it starts,
Right.
but modernize. I've been asked this a lot, and there's a lot of reasons I like modernize. A lot of it was because of my work.
Uh-huh.
Um, Most of the time, I'd like be holding on to something or whatever, and I could always open a modern knife one handed, one finger, and I can close it. Well, one handed.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I
Yep.
can stay efficient and stay on task.
Right.
Uh, this fit my lifestyle, but I do like my traditionals. But I'm gonna tell you a story, Tom.
Go
I don't
ahead.
tell many people this.
Well,
I don't carry
you're telling
traditionals
YouTube land here.
because I was like 19 or 20 years old, and I had a Stockman I was using,
Uh-huh.
and I was making a really, really long cut on something, and the knife turned in my hand, and the blade closed, and I had force behind it, and I cut myself to the bone. Like I
Hmm.
literally, I've got a scar. Uh, it's hard to see, but I've got a
Sure.
scar in here
Yeah.
where I just, about this far, you could see my
Yeah.
bone.
Yeah.
And so I don't carry slip joints because of
Okay.
that.
Okay.
It was a safety thing, but I have traditionals. I admire traditionals. I give them the respect they need and deserve,
Uh-huh.
because we wouldn't have this without, you know, this.
Right. Right.
So
Yep.
it's just that's what it is. I got hurt really bad. These lock up. I know like the 110 locks up and stuff, but it's always been a one-handed thing for me.
Sure.
And even for 110, you still got to have two hands to break the lock to shut
Yeah.
it. You can still
Yeah.
shut it one-handed, but you got to move that thumb back and crack that lock. So that's why I like moderns. It's not really, do I prefer it, but it's just, yeah.
Yeah.
When you've been hurt as bad as I have, you're just
Hmm.
leery. You're just
Sure.
leery.
I get that. Yeah. I guess it's funny because, I'm going up with just a slip joint pocket knife, you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
I get a modern like this, and it's got the flipper, and this is the Buck Sprint Ops Pro,
No, I like it.
ball bearing, and I mean, you can just really flip it out. I'm still gonna probably just pinch it and pull it out.
Right.
I'm just, that's the way I'm used to opening a knife. And it doesn't
Have,
seem to matter what the opening mechanism is. I use two hands.
oh, what's his name? I can't think of his name. He'll go around to like these knife shows and stuff, and he'll have them do a cut test with the knives they're carrying, and
Uh-huh.
I can't think of his name. Well, anyway, uh, he did an episode on, what knives do you not hand to someone, and modern knives are dangerous because everybody is honestly used to this. If you
Yeah.
this to somebody on the street,
Yeah.
they know, okay, I got a nail nick here to open it up,
Right.
and then I use my hand to close it. And
Hmm.
so this is kind of like everybody knows how to use this knife. Well, when you go hand this knife to somebody, they don't know what to do,
Right.
and so they end up cutting themselves with it.
Yep.
And what he did is he went and took a bunch of knives. Now this is a $300 knife. You're just not going to dull the blade, but
Right.
he took a bunch of knives like this and he dulled the blades and stuff, and he'd hand them to people, and every person he handed them to would have cut themselves trying to figure it out.
Right. Right. Yep.
And so it takes a little practice.
It does.
Um, Spyderco, I hated Spyderco for years, years. Great company, but I couldn't get the Spidey flick. I couldn't figure it out
Yeah.
how to flick it open with my fingers. So that annoyed me. I never wanted one because of it. And so finally, I got one in a monthly subscription box, and I just sit here and I flicked it and flicked it and flicked it until finally it's become second nature. Now I can
Yeah.
just, and but yeah, that's pretty much the reasons for moderns for me.
Yep. I had one, probably my first, yeah, it was my first modern knife. I bought it in like '03 when I first went into law enforcement because I thought I had to have, a cool tactical knife.
Sure.
And it was a Blackie Collins design called the Speedster. It's made by Meyerco. And I used to always pinch it and open it up. And although it had the thumb hole there. And here a few years back, I'm like, you got this thumb hole here. Why aren't you using it? So I practiced with it. And I had to practice with
Yeah. Oh yeah.
it. And once I got the feel of where to have my hand on the handle and this and that, man, I mean, yeah, that was
It's
a great
second
action.
nature. Yeah.
So then I thought, especially with all my modern knives now, I want to make sure I'm ambidextrous with them.
Right.
My right hand is injured. Can I open it with my left hand? So I'll spend as much time or more with my left hand practicing opening and closing one handed. And I try to do that with all my modern knives now. And that's kind of a test of the few modern knives that I have. That's kind of one of the tests I have is can I use it ambidextrously?
Uh, so I'll just use this one as an example. So I like a lot of modern knives because they have multiple deployment modes.
Uh huh.
If you're uncomfortable with one, there's still another one to be able to open with, you know. And this is an SRM. It's a Chinese brand. They're I don't. I just started hearing about them about a year ago,
Hmm.
but this one's actually a front flipper,
Okay.
and so it's kind of awkward for me because my wrist is
Here, let
messed
me
up.
let me pull you up on full screen here. Okay.
So it's a front flipper and it's got the crossbar lock like
Right.
the Benchmade lock, or then it's got the hole or flick hole there, Yeah, this one's not a good one.
Yeah.
I don't like this one. Hold on a minute. Here's the good one. It doesn't have a real good action to it. It doesn't flow good. Now this is a Kaiser that I just got,
Okay.
and I really like this one. So it's got the harpoon style blade, front flipper. It's a liner lock, and it's got pretty good action. But it's got the thumb studs. So if you're uncomfortable with the front flipper, you can still use the thumb studs to deploy it.
Right.
And then, as you play with the knife a little more, you could play with the thumb or the front flipper.
Yep.
So, you know, a lot of modern knives are starting to come out with multiple deployments so it'll fit everybody's lifestyle.
Sure.
And I like that too, but there's so many of these modern knives coming out, you just can't keep up with them all.
No, you can't.
That's a good thing about traditionals is they stay to the same pattern. They may change the scales on it, but for the most part,
Right.
it's the same pattern. To whereas, like a lot of these knives are just, you know, new on the market. This is what the flavor I'm offering this month. Next month's
Right.
going to be a different flavor,
Yep.
But yeah, that front flipper, it's pretty nice on this one.
Yep.
But that's an
Yeah.
advantage to moderns over traditional.
Yep.
I've
But
been watching Hell on Wheels here lately. I love
uh-huh.
that show. And Colin Bohannon, he's doing something, and he pulls out a little Stockman out of his pocket, and he's cutting something, and he goes and he pushes it back in one handed on his leg, sticks it in his pocket, and I was just like, that's an awesome scene. I love that
Yeah.
they caught that he was using that little Stockman and then closed that little, and he was using the pin blade on it. It was
Yeah.
the little short blade on it. And so he closed it and stuck it back in his pocket. I was just like, that's an awesome scene. I'm
Yeah.
glad they
We
caught that.
we used to use our leg. Put
Yeah, I did too.
put the spine on
Um,
the back and just flip it shut.
so
Yeah.
I carried traditionals until I want to say around 2006.
Uh-huh.
When I joined the army is when I started carrying like a modern style knife,
Sure.
and it was actually these two, the SOG Tridents.
Okay.
I actually carried these in Iraq when I was there. I got there in 2008 and I left in 2010, and so about 15 months. And I carried this one and this one. The clips
Okay.
broke off of this one. I need to get another clip, but
Yeah.
you know, look at that. That's well used.
That's a used knife, isn't it? Yep.
Yeah, and I cut stuff every day with it. Well, my buddy that I was telling you about, he sharpened these before I went to Iraq, and I haven't
Okay.
touched them since I got back home. Period. I haven't sharpened them or nothing.
Oh my.
And you know, so just just the that one's a little rough, but I mean they
Still. Yeah.
still cut really good for being put up for 12 years.
Sure.
Uh, and I think these were OS 8. This is back when OS 8 was just getting real popular.
Right.
But these were my first moderns, and then I moved
Sure.
from this to a Benchmade Mini Barrage. and I
Okay.
carried that from 2011, no, 2010 till about 2016, and then I decided I was going to start collecting knives. So,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, I started buying different stuff after that, and I actually put up my mini barrage. If I had it out, the knife world would probably be pretty mad at me. It looks rough. I mean, it
Does
looks
it?
rougher than a corn cob. I ain't lying.
Well, that's all right.
But that's what they're
Well,
for. I mean,
absolutely. They're made to be used. Yep.
I,
Now,
I'm not a I'm not a safe queen collector.
mhm,
I don't care if it costs $20 or $300. I'm gonna use it.
right.
That's what it's there for.
Yep.
And you know, if I die tomorrow, some dude or somebody is gonna get my knives, and why should they get a perfect knife from me?
Right. Right. Yeah, I got you.
you know,
Yep.
it's got some of my flavor on it. So
Uh, just to get back to Buck just a little bit, another
yeah,
reason I do like Buck is let me come up here. Now I got this in an antique store here a few weeks back. This is the Buck
okay,
Odyssey one, and this came out in around 2002, I want to say. I think the
okay,
first models came out in the late 1990s, but 20, 25 years ago. I mean, Buck
right,
saw the writing on the wall and they innovated, and
yeah.
they
The
really,
only thing I wish they would have done is they flipped the clip around
yeah, yeah,
to where it was tip up.
yeah.
That's just a preference of mine. That's not a deal breaker
Yep.
on most knives, but
But just look at
that's a
that blade
handsome
shape,
knife.
though.
I like that.
That is a really nice knife.
And see that shows innovation.
It does. It
It's
does.
like Buck isn't just gonna stay in 100 years ago. They're not gonna keep
Yeah.
going with that. They saw that there was a need for modern knives, and they are actually trying to fill it.
Yep.
You
They
know,
are.
I like the Bantam. It's a cheap little
Oh,
knife, but
I
it's a
have
good looking little knife.
I have about 10 bantams and or more in various sizes and
Yeah,
cup. I was going to try to collect them all, but there's like 11 different um, handle colors, and of course there's 4 sizes to each one. So that was like 44 of them. I'd have to get to have them all. I gave up. I mean, like,
yeah,
man, that's a lot. But I
yeah,
got a pretty good selection of them.
yeah.
So even the
So
little the what's the smallest one? The what do they call it?
I can see it. I can.
Yeah, the little tiny one. I love that little thing. It's well, hang on, I can grab it. I can
Yeah,
see.
I don't have one. I can see what I know what you're talking about. I just can't think of the name.
Oh my goodness, what did they call them? I want to say baby bantam, but that's not it. But yeah, so yeah, I've got quite a selection of bantams.
Oh yeah, I like that
Um,
roll. See,
but
I
here's
kind
the
of keep my stuff in boxes still. Yeah,
uh-huh.
I think
This
is it called a baby bantam?
no, it's not the baby. It's a lockback still, but it's so small. It's got the nail nick to it. Look at this nice little thing. Nice
Yeah,
lightweight. It is a nice little knife. Oh, I
and
should know what this model is.
I
Hang
got you.
on. I'm embarrassed now.
You're all right. I
The Nano,
the nano. Yeah, that's
Nano
right.
Bantam. Yeah,
I could see the knife in my mind,
yeah.
but I couldn't think of the name either.
There's another one in the OD green,
Oh yeah, I like that one.
and
Go Army.
go Navy, beat Army, right? Then one in this weird deer skull thing.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So these are nice little knives, though. These are handy little knives.
Yeah. I think
And it's a shame Buck stopped stop the series. You were right. They were an inexpensive knife, but they cut well. They sharpened well. They were. I don't know of anyone that really reviewed these or used these that didn't like them.
Yeah.
Again, the little nano bantams, I think, were what, $14 or $15 when they first come out, and even up to
Were
the
they
bigger
that much?
sizes. And
I was thinking they were like 10. I'd seen them at 10
they
at
might
some
have been,
places.
yeah. But I mean, they were inexpensive.
Yeah.
So, and
Yeah.
then you got, I don't, I don't remember what they call it, all the different cover material. But then you got things like this,
th-
like a
Uh,
snake skin.
uh, that's a type of camouflage. Yeah, I'd call it snake skin, but it's a
Yeah,
type of modern camouflage.
yeah. But anyway, so yeah, they had some very interesting cover or handles.
Well, I mean, this is the Buck Cavalier,
Yeah.
and they actually put a uh, little piece of carbon fiber in it.
Uh huh.
I don't know if it's covered G10 carbon fiber,
Hmm.
but
Let
this
me.
is it kind of reminds me of the CEO,
Right.
CRKT
Yep.
CEO.
Yep.
Not quite as thin and not quite as long, but this is a pretty thin pocket knife and, you know,
Yeah.
flipper, liner lock.
Yep.
I mean, that's pretty handsome little knife.
It is.
Uh, that's what to me that's the going to town knife.
It is.
Like
It's a,
if you're gonna go out with your wife, go eat somewhere, go to
like,
the
especially go
movies,
to a
something like that.
steakhouse, you got a steak knife with you there.
Right, because I can't tell you how many times I pulled my pocket knife out and used it in a restaurant
Yep.
because knives were kind of crappy.
Yep.
My
Mm.
wife makes fun of me so much for that. But I'm like, hey, what am I carrying a knife for if I can't cut my steak with it?
Absolutely. That's what they're there for, right?
Right? Uh, but I tell you, out of all my traditionals that I've reviewed this year, this is my favorite. Uh, over Bucks, all of them. It's the 31 OT old timer.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
It's got the gun stock grips and
Yeah.
just that brass is just so pretty.
Yeah.
And you get, a little bit modern, little bit traditional,
Right.
lock back, uh, just a good looking, handsome little knife. This really surprised me with old timer.
Hmm.
I was like, they're trying
They've come
to
out with some good ones, and I know, and RJ's going to call me out on this, but some of the old timers now I think are even being made in the U.S. They've come out with, was it a Legacy
yeah,
series or a
yep.
something series that?
You pay for them, Joe.
Yeah, who do you know who made it for them?
It's Baron Son.
Baron Sons. Okay,
Hmm.
that's what I figured. Yeah.
Yeah, being that I mean, they probably have old timers, old machines working on their old machines, being that they're in
That, that,
Alabama.
that could be.
Old timer was in Chattanooga,
Uh-huh.
and Baron Son being in Alabama. I mean, if you're in Birmingham, you could be sitting in Chattanooga in 2 hours. So
Right.
I would think that they're probably using old timers, old and Schrade. They also do Schrade's USA. They
Okay.
were for a while, like the
Okay.
Sharp Finger,
Uh-huh.
but I think Schrade USA is actually ramped back up themselves, haven't they?
I don't know. I don't know.
That would be an RJ question.
That would be an RJ question. He'd be able to answer it too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but You
Yeah,
know,
that,
I like
you
Bear
say,
and Son.
no, I'm trying to think of that old song, "Ain't no ham like Birmingham."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, I used to live in Tuscaloosa in Alabama, uh, about 15 blocks from Paul Bear Bryant Stadium,
Oh, okay. Yeah,
and but yeah, where Bear and Son's at, it's not too far from where I live, about an hour, I guess.
sure.
But yeah, they make some pretty good stuff. Their modern stuff though, they make their handles out of steel, and they're just so heavy. They need
Yeah,
to shift gears and either go to aluminum or something because they're so thick and heavy, like
yeah,
the Bear Ops 2 that they make. I actually gave it away because it was so heavy. I didn't want to pack it,
sure.
and
Sure.
but the blade and everything, the quality of it was good.
Yeah.
You know,
I've
I
got
think
one of
it's
their I
I
got one
think
of their bird and trout knives with the stag handles.
yeah,
It's a beautiful little bird and trout knife.
yeah. I had one of their uh, sharp fingers,
Uh-huh.
and I think I gave it to RJ
Okay.
when I did that Kydex sheath for his.
Sure. Sure.
And they all look the same. Like if you hold one up next to the other, like the Bear and Son
Yep.
to Schrade, they look the same.
Yeah.
But by doing the Kydex sheath for his sharp finger, I realized real quick that each blade's different.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
they look the same, but you couldn't take my Bear and Son and put it in RJ's Kydex, his sheath.
Right. Right.
Because it's made just for his sharp finger. So,
Yep.
uh, but speaking of bird and trout knives, I got this one this year. It's a K bar.
Oh, yeah. Is that the 1232?
Uh,
I, I,
nope, it's the 1226,
okay. I got a
the little fin.
1232. Yep.
Uh,
Yep.
it's a
Very
good
nice.
looking little knife,
Oh, yeah.
and for the price, I think it was like uh I want to say it was like $28, twenty
Yeah.
six dollars.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't beat it.
Nope. You sure
Uh,
can't.
so I don't have like a buck or a case bird and trout knife. So this is coming to you, Tom, for you to do a comparison because you've got a
Oh,
case too, don't you?
not a case bird and trout. I have several bird and trout knives, but not a
Okay.
case. I've
Well,
I've got a stacked leather case hunting knife, but it's not a bird and trout. It's a full
well,
size hunting knife.
uh, I wanted to do comparisons, but I I get sidetracked between, the case being $70 and the buck being like
Oh yeah,
50 something dollars. And I get sidetracked. And so I would rather send this to you
yeah.
and let you
I
do
will
a
certainly
review.
compare it against what I have.
And then when you're done comparing it, stick it in your safe back there.
Oh no, it's got to come back to you, my
No, I don't.
man.
No, I don't want it back. I'll
Oh,
put return to sender on the package.
oh man, you don't have to do that.
Well, see, Tom,
It's appreciated, believe
it's
me. But
this is one thing that a lot of people don't know about me is I don't keep a lot of knives. I
yeah,
give I give a lot of them away,
I know you do.
and it's because I want to. I want to share my passion with people, and
Yep.
you know, uh, and I'm not trying to humble you, but I told you I'm sending you a package, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you know, this is a little bit of it. It's not all of it, but it's a little bit. So let me get
Oh,
let
oh
me
my
get
goodness.
let oh oh oh, did I get the bottom? Yeah, I got
Oh,
it.
come on now. You can't be
So
doing that.
well, you're the buck guy. I'm keeping the canoe though. You're out of luck on that one.
Oh,
But you know,
see, I don't know what to say here. I mean, this is just
well, so
CB.
so there's a toothpick in there. It's got to go to Thrifty because he
Okay,
said he never had one,
absolutely. Yep.
and so the toothpick needs to go to Thrifty. You can send whatever you want to
I will
RJ.
share. I will share.
Um, you
Absolutely.
know, but there's some pretty good ones in there. Some you've
Yep.
got, I'm sure, probably got them
Yep.
all. But you know, hey,
I will share. I will
uh,
share.
make
And
some kid happy or something. You know.
absolutely. I hate to say this, but we have officially went over an hour, and I try
Oh
to keep these to just an hour or a little less.
no,
That's
I got
okay.
you.
That's okay. The time just flies so quick on
It
these.
does. It does. You just
You
get
think
to
an hour,
talking.
that's a lot of time, but it just goes so quickly. But I'd like to have you on again here down the road again.
Okay.
And actually, there's
Yeah.
several channels that I've done one-on-ones on, and maybe we can get a panel together sometime and have a Saturday chat. But um,
Oh
you know,
yeah. That'd be
CB,
cool.
I want to give you a moment here to just talk about your channel. What you think where your channel's going. Um, I can't I didn't check. I don't know where you're at with subscribers, but everybody, please go over to CB Tactical. It's CB_Tactical. Hit that subscribe button. Just a wonderful channel. He's a very generous man, as you just seen. I am humbled here. I mean, I'm speechless. So, CB, please tell us about your channel.
Um, I've got quite a few things coming up. I've almost at 650 subscribers. The community's been really good to me. I've been growing pretty quick here lately,
Good.
and you know I appreciate that. I like I said, my videos they get kind of screwy at 2 o'clock in the morning, but you know, hey,
That's all right.
I think that's part of the part of my channel. You know,
Yeah, that's right.
so
You got to be
but
yourself, man. Be yourself.
I try to hit everything for everybody, traditionals, moderns, multi tools, EDC. You know, I've got a video on bandanas coming out and what use they're for, and why you should carry one every day. So I mean, it's a little bit of everything. Uh, this fall, I'm going to the Georgia Bushcraft Show where Tyler Martin from Best Damn EDC and TC from Smoky Mountain Knife Works and a lot of handmade knife makers are going to be there. Uh, I've got that coming. I will be filming that, and so I've got quite a few things coming uh,
That
to the
sounds great.
channel.
That
Just try
sounds
to have
great.
fun, you
You
know,
got to have
and
fun.
I enjoy gaining knowledge with the people that watch me as well as, you know, trying to help them with the
Absolutely.
knife selection.
Yep. Yep.
Because, you
You're
know,
right.
everybody ain't like me and you, Tom. They don't want to buy 500 knives, you know, and have them sitting around. They want to buy the one
Yeah.
or,
Exactly.
or the
Yeah.
two that they
Yep.
keep for a lifetime. And,
Yep.
you know, your channel and RJ's and mine, and, you know,
That that
we influence people for that.
that
So,
that is the great thing about having so many channels out there is for the person like you said that's looking for that one or two knives that they want to buy, they'll invest in it. They have so many channels, and even if it's the same knife, to get so many different reviews, even on the same knife, to help them make that selection to what fits them. You know,
right.
that's what a great thing about YouTube. Don't take my word for it. You know, I used to always tell everybody, don't take my word for it. Go out and check 10 other channels, right?
Right, right.
Just because I like it and it meets my needs doesn't mean it's going to meet your needs. I
Sure.
can give you my opinion, but you know what they say about opinions, right? So
Yeah. Everybody's got one.
everyone's got one, yeah. So
Well,
anyway,
Tom, thank you for having me on. You're
oh,
you're awesome as always.
it's
Uh,
long overdue, CB. It's long
yeah,
overdue. So
hopefully, I'll run into you at RJ's pretty soon.
absolutely, absolutely. So
All right, bye,
until
everybody.
until next time, everybody, have a very delightful day. And remember, go over and hit CB Tactical's channel up and hit that subscribe button while you're there and enjoy his wonderful content. And CB, thank you so much for being such a gracious guest.
Thank you for
Take
being
care,
a gracious
everyone.
host.
Mhm.